used to be the face of the UFC's rise. The tough, fearless wrestler, the Huntington Beach bad boy, a man who turned fights into main events, who sold out pay-per-views just by showing up. But lately, something's different. Tito Ortiz isn't the same man we used to watch in the octagon. His words slip. His thoughts take longer to come out. He even forgot the name of a project he was promoting, live on TV. Nobody laughed. They just stared, quietly worried. Tito admitted it himself. More than 25 concussions, memory lapses, blackouts, and he's scared. He doesn't want to become another sad story. But that's exactly what's unfolding right in front of us. This isn't just about a fighter aging. It's a story of trauma, time, and fame colliding. And Tito might become the loudest warning the MMA world has ever had. Tito didn't just show up to the UFC one day out of nowhere. He came in like a storm. Born in 1975 in Huntington Beach, California, he started on wrestling mats, not in cages. He was a college wrestling star at California State Bakersfield. His relentless takedowns and pressure made him a nightmare for anyone who faced him. That's what made his transition to MMA so explosive. By April 2000, during UFC 25, he fought Wanderlei Silva for the light heavyweight title. The crowd roared as bodies slammed and fists flew. And then, boom, a triangle choke. Silva tapped. A wrestler had arrived, but not just any wrestler. Tito could strike, grapple, and grind his way to victory with raw heart. In the next year, he beat champions like Evan Tanner and crushed unbeaten fighters. By UFC 28, Tito wasn't just winning, he was defending titles like it was nothing. But Tito brought more than just skills, he brought fire. He was loud, charismatic, he knew how to sell a fight. His rivalry with Chuck Liddell, legendary. The trash talk, "You're gonna pay, boy." The walkouts, electric. Tito turned MMA into a spectacle. He didn't just fight, he made you feel something. But that swagger came with a cost. Behind the persona was a man taking massive hits, fight after fight. Early on you couldn't tell. He looked strong, unshaken, confident, but behind the scenes the pain was building. Match after match, strike after strike. It all started to add up. He never stopped. Rematches, new contracts, packed fight schedules. Recovery took a back seat. Tito valued his image more than his healing, and so the legend kept going. But the damage was stacking up. Then came the confession. In January 2017, Tito Ortiz finally said out loud what many feared. "I've had over 25 concussions, 8 surgeries. I've lost time, more than I can count." On a podcast, he shared chilling details. His memory stalled. His body would shut down. He said he once walked into a fight and doesn't even remember doing it. That scared him, and it scared everyone listening. People started connecting the dots. Memory loss, speech delays, emotional distance. All common signs of CTE, a degenerative brain disease linked to repeated head trauma. Reddit threads popped up. Is Tito Ortiz developing CTE? Fans on forums shifted from cheering to worrying. One post read, "I didn't want to believe it, but he could barely speak in that 2017 interview." These weren't jokes anymore. This wasn't just about a fighter slipping. People mourned what was happening to him, but Tito didn't stop. In 2017, he came back for more fights, this time with Bellator. The fire was still there, but now something felt off. Fans saw it. He hesitated walking out. He slurred his words. He couldn't remember names. He won his comeback fight, but to many, it looked like muscle memory, not strategy, not sharpness. And when asked if he worried about brain damage, he simply said, "Of course," then went right into talking about his next fight. That disconnect between what he knew and what he did was terrifying. He knew he was hurt, but he couldn't stop. Maybe he didn't feel like he deserved to stop. And then came the most heartbreaking moment. Tito was on a live TV segment promoting a mental health project. The host asked a simple question. "What's the name of your project again?" Tito paused, blinked. It starts with an F." There was no joke, no punchline, just a man who genuinely couldn't remember something important to him. People watching felt their stomachs drop. He forgot. On air, fans flooded the comments. How much has he forgotten? This isn't funny anymore. In podcasts, he began mispronouncing names, getting dates wrong. Once light-hearted moments now felt heavy. YouTube comparisons between his interviews in 2004 and in 2018 showed the difference. Back then, he was sharp. Now, slow, unsure. Medical experts say that signs like this, memory problems, speech issues, often show up before a formal CTE diagnosis, but neither UFC nor Bellator stepped in. No tests, no cognitive checks, no effort to protect him. Sponsors started quietly backing away. The fans who used to scream his name, now they whisper in forums, "Is he okay? When will someone tell him to stop?" Nobody did. Tito's memory was failing him in public, and yet the industry stayed silent. He kept showing up to events, he was still used in promos, and every time he spoke, more people noticed something was wrong. But there was no safety net, no retirement plan, no support, just a fading legend still in the spotlight, while breaking apart in real time. By 2015, Tito Ortiz had already taken more hits to the head than most athletes take in a lifetime. But retirement? That wasn't on his radar. Instead, he signed with Bellator, a promotion that welcomed older fighters who still had big names and could sell tickets even if their best days were long gone. On paper, it made sense. Tito was still a draw, but in reality, it felt wrong. His fight against Liam McGeary in 2015 was supposed to be a big comeback, but Tito looked slower. His timing was off. He got caught in an inverted triangle choke and tapped out quickly. The spark that once made him dangerous just wasn't there anymore. But the damage? That kept piling on. Then came the 2017 fight with Chael Sonnen. It drew attention, but insiders were uneasy. Sonnen later admitted something felt off. Tito had trouble remembering things during press events. He'd go off topic in the middle of sentences. Even when Tito won, something felt different. His eyes didn't light up the way they used to. He seemed detached, like part of him wasn't there. This wasn't about wins or losses anymore. It was about something deeper. Tito had talked openly about memory loss, confusion, and blackouts. Yet no athletic commission stopped him from fighting. As long as he passed a basic physical and brought in viewers, he was booked. After Bellator, he went to Combate Americas and fought Alberto Del Rio, a former WWE star. Tito won, easily, but fans knew it was a mismatch, a staged show, and the win gave Tito false hope that he could keep going. He even teased a move to bare-knuckle boxing. For a man with over 25 concussions, the idea of entering a sport where people take direct punches to the face without gloves was horrifying. This wasn't entertainment anymore. This was exploitation. Nobody was stopping him. Not the fans, not the promoters, and not even Tito himself. The saddest part, it wasn't just the experts or the media raising alarms. It was his fans. The same people who had supported him from the beginning were now afraid for him. Videos started circulating. Compilations of recent Tito interviews titled Tito Ortiz, the CTE Years. They weren't funny. They were painful. In one clip, he tried explaining a community project, but his sentences didn't finish. He repeated phrases. He looked lost. In another clip from a political event, he mispronounced so many words that news outlets turned it into a meme. But his fans weren't laughing, they were heartbroken. Reddit threads like Tito Ortiz doesn't sound right anymore started trending. YouTube comments on his old fights were filled with messages like, "Man, I used to love watching Tito. Now I'm scared for him." Even other fighters noticed. They spoke carefully, trying not to sound rude, but it was clear. They were worried. Some even begged Bellator to stop booking him. But as long as Tito drew attention, he remained useful. Tito was slowly becoming a cautionary tale. Once he was the loudest guy in the room, the alpha, the warrior. Now during interviews he often looked confused, vacant, and the fans who once roared for him were now silently hoping someone would step in before it was too late. But Tito didn't see it that way. He denied there was anything wrong. "I'm stronger than ever," he said, still sharp. But his interviews said otherwise. The contradictions were piling up, and even his most loyal fans couldn't ignore the truth anymore. In 2020, Tito took a surprising turn. He entered politics. He ran for a seat on the Huntington Beach City Council and won. For a moment, fans were hopeful. Maybe this was it. Maybe Tito would finally walk away from fighting and start a new chapter. But things unraveled fast. He misunderstood basic rules of city government. He missed meetings. He clashed with other council members. At press conferences, he often rambled, contradicted himself, and struggled to get his point across. One viral clip showed him trying to talk about mask mandates. His words spiraled. He said, "I'm a clean, Christ-conscious conservative," and left people confused. Then it came out. He'd filed for unemployment while serving as an elected official, and he was still getting paid. The backlash came fast. Even Tito's own supporters were stunned. His time in politics ended just as quickly as it began. By June 2021, he resigned, claiming there was a witch hunt against him. But the truth was clear. He was out of his depth. His speeches were confusing, his actions baffling. This wasn't just political inexperience. It was a deeper sign of cognitive decline. Experts call it a breakdown in executive function, the ability to plan, think clearly, handle pressure. It's one of the first things to go with brain trauma. Tito's political meltdown wasn't just embarrassing, it was alarming. His body tells the same story. Over 10 surgeries, spinal fusions, knee repairs. Once he joked he was more metal than bone. But no one's laughing anymore. He moves slower. His balance is off. Training footage shows him grimacing through simple exercises. His once fluid movements are now stiff and robotic. Still, he won't stop. He talks about migraines, nerve pain, muscle spasms, but always brushes them off. Fans have noticed his hands tremble. He fidgets more. He forgets names, mixes up dates. In a podcast, he confused two opponents, he laughed, fans didn't, and through it all, he's in denial. For Tito, admitting something's wrong means admitting weakness, so he blames the media, says people just hate greatness. But behind the bravado is fear, loneliness. He knows the spotlight is fading and it terrifies him. Other fighters, Chuck Liddell, Mark Coleman, have spoken up about brain damage. Tito, he denies it. Even after admitting to 25 concussions, he says, "I've never had brain trauma. It's like locking the door while the fire burns inside." Those close to him see it, but they stay silent out of fear or loyalty or money. Online, some fans still shout, "You've still got it, champ." They mean well, but it's dangerous. It's fuel for the fire. Denial is keeping Tito from getting help, from facing reality, and that's why this next chapter could be the most dangerous of all, because you can't heal from something you won't admit exists. The clock is ticking. Fighters like Gary Goodridge and Spencer Fisher have shown us where this road leads. CTE, memory loss, pain, isolation, and Tito isn't slowing down. In 2023, he even floated the idea of fighting Jake Paul. This isn't about legacy anymore, it's about survival. Right now, there's still a chance if he stops, if he gets help. But that would mean letting go of pride, taking off the armor, facing the truth. And the saddest part, he might already be too far gone to see it.